Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2010 Toyota RAV4, we're going to be showing you how to install the etrailer.com Class 3 trailer hitch receiver. But before we do that, why don't we check it out and make sure that this is the right hitch for you. So when it comes to these RAV4s, you know, they're really popular SUVs, and I see people using them to do a ton of different things with, you know, whether it's pulling a trailer or using an accessory, you know, like a bike rack or a cargo carrier. So honestly, if it were me and I was thinking about putting a hitch on my Toyota, I'd want something that could, you know, kind of handle just about anything you want to throw at it. And this setup here is going to do just that. So not only is it going to be a good setup for pulling a trailer, kind of because of the capacities it has, but we'll kind of get to that in a moment. But it's going to be a really nice setup for those of you that are planning on using primarily accessories. And I say that because partly due to the clearance that the hitch gives us. So the end of the receiver tube opening here is going to be, you know, just about flush with our back bumper here. And so that's going to give us a lot of that space that we need, especially with those folding type of accessories. And in particular, the RAV4s that have the tire on the back here. You know, it's going to come out quite a bit, about as far as you'd want it to. You know, anything past this might kind of look goofy, but in this case it looks good. And so what that's going to allow us to do is get that accessory further out and hopefully be able to keep it in that upright position without having to worry about it hitting the back of a RAV4. So the hitch is going to have this 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, and the good thing about that is it's a super common size, so a ton of different accessories will work out with it. At the end, we're going to have a reinforced collar for a little bit of extra support, and it is going to use that standard 5/8 pin. Now, keep in mind, a pin or clip does not come included. You need one though, not a huge deal. You can grab it here at eTrailer. And the safety chain openings are going to be nice and thick and big enough to allow you to use just about any size hook that you might have. So we mentioned towing earlier, and you know, you want a hitch that you're going to be confident in. You know, that way you can pull that trailer down the road with a little bit of peace of mind. And this one is going to give us some really good weight capacity so we can have that confidence. As far as the maximum gross tongue weight rating goes, that's going to be 525 pounds. And that's going to be the amount of weight that is pushing down on the hitch. So pretty high number, and you should be able to use just about any size cargo carrier or bike rack, for example. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 3,500 pounds, and that's going to be the amount of weight that is pulling on the hitch. So that is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. Now, this can be used with a weight distribution system, and that is a separate component, but if you are using that, what it's going to do is increase your weight capacities a little bit. Tongue weight rating is going to remain the same at 525, but the gross trailer weight rating is going to go up to 4,000. Now, I do always like to suggest it's never a bad idea just to grab your RAV4's owner's manual. That way you can make sure your Toyota can pull that much weight safely. Now let's just go ahead and grab a couple measurements. That way we could try to figure out which hitch-mounted accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be right at about 13 inches. So if you do plan on pulling a trailer, chances are pretty good you're going to need to get a ball mount that has a rise in the shank. If you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, that's going to set right at about 3.5 inches. And you can use that measurement to figure out exactly if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position without hitting the back of your SUV. There is just one more thing I kind of wanted to mention, and that's how the hitch is going to look on the back of your RAV4, you know. And honestly, I think this one looks pretty good. Out of the hitches available that are visible, this would be my top pick. It just kind of has, you know, that matte black finish and just kind of helps blend in and flow to the bottom of your Toyota. But with that said, if you don't want to see the hitch at all, you know, if you don't want to see any of the tubes running from side to side and really just want to see that receiver tube opening, there is a completely hidden hitch available. That's called the Eco Hitch. And that's going to kind of sit up behind the bumper and eliminate these tubes here on the side. So that's always an option for you if that's something that's important to you. But, you know, other than that, at the end of the day, hitch you really can't go wrong with. It's going to look good and allow you to get those tasks done that you're looking to do. Now, as far as the installation goes, It is not bad at all on these RAV4s. Essentially, just going to have to do a couple small, easy steps, and more or less the hitch is just going to bolt right up into place. So really shouldn't give you too many issues. Speaking of which though, why don't we go ahead, pull into the garage, and put it on together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our RAV4, and we're going to come over here to the driver's side, right underneath it. Some models may have a plastic panel here. Ours doesn't. If yours does, you'll need to remove that panel. It's usually just some plastic type fasteners. But with that said, we are going to have to take off this tow hook that's bolted to the bottom of the frame rail. And that's going to be held in place by two 17mm head bolts. And pull those out and get it removed. Now we're going to need to lower our exhaust a little bit to give us some more room to work. But what I like to do before that is make sure we have it supported. That way we can kind of control how fast and far we let it down. So I'm just going to take a strap and run it from side to side. So to actually get the exhaust lowered here by our tailpipe, we're going to have a rubber isolator hanger. And you can spray that down with some soapy water or some type of lubricant. I'm going to take a pry bar and pry that off. And it seems like this came down far enough that we should have more than enough room to get our hitch up into place. So our attachment points are going to be on the bottom of our frame, but in this case they're covered up with stickers, and we're going to remove those stickers. So I'm just going to take a straight edge. You can use a screwdriver or whatever else too. Just get those removed. And I want to mention from this point on, anything we do to this side of the vehicle, we're also going to repeat on the other side. So the attachment points that we're going to be using on each one of our frame rails are going to be the same. We're going to have this factory weld nut and that one there that we removed the stickers from. And even though they were covered, what you want to do is spray them out with some penetrating oil or something similar and just clean out the threads. I'm just going to use a tube brush. That way if there is any dirt or rust in there, it'll make it a little bit easier. And as far as the hardware that we're going to use to secure the hitch, it's going to all be the same. We're going to have a bolt and a conical tooth washer. And when you put the washer on, you want to make sure that the teeth on the washer are going to be facing up towards the hitch. So the way it's going to work, we'll hold our hitch up in position and then take our bolts and simply just thread those right into those factory weld nuts. Now with an extra set of hands, we can take our hitch and raise it into position. So kind of just slide it up where it needs to be. And once we're holding it there, you want to take your bolt and get at least one of them started on each side, hand tight. That way the hitch will support itself. And once we have that one in, we'll go ahead and just get the other one going as well. With all of our hardware in place and hand tight, we can come back with a 19mm socket and snug everything down. Now we need to make sure and come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can grab one here at eTrailer, or a lot of times you go to your local auto parts store and they'll have one there available to rent. With the hitch all torqued down, now we can raise our exhaust back up into position. So I lubricate it again. A lot of times you can just slide it on by hand. But with that supporting itself now, we'll go ahead and get our strap out of the way. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the etrailer.com Class 3 trailer hitch receiver on our 2010 Toyota RAV4.